Hello and welcome to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio. This is Stefan, your host, British by birth, American by choice. The Founding Fathers crafted some remarkable documents that led to the creation of a great country founded on liberty and self-reliance. I have lived in the Euro-socialist nightmare, and I'm doing what I can to return this country to the vision that the Founding Fathers gave us. We need to strive to rebuild that shining city on the hill, for without us, the world has nowhere to turn for freedom. For the next hour, I will be presenting news, views, and guests that help keep the true spirit of America alive. And here we go, folks. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, with another episode, a rip-roaring episode of Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio. This is episode 330. For my live listeners that were listening earlier in the evening, this is a re-recording because of some network problems. Been having a lot of bad network problems at the hotel here. A couple of weeks ago I had problems in another hotel, this hotel as well. Luckily I hope to be back at home with a decent network connection next week, so hopefully not so many problems. Of course, for most of my listeners who listen via the archives or listen via the rebroadcasts, you won't notice any of these problems because I will stitch this all together to make just a single show. So what do we got on the plate tonight? Well, tonight's going to be a little bit a rant against the lamestream media, primarily, and how they are protecting Hilaire and others on the left, including King Barry, letting King Barry get away with all sorts of stuff by not highlighting what's going on. The lamestream media, the journalists of today, are not journalists anymore. They're not reporters anymore. They're opinionators. They are there to push an agenda. They report things the way they want it to be rather than reporting the truth. This is very, very sad. This is not what our Founding Fathers intended. Our Founding Fathers intended the press to be the fourth estate. They were supposed to be you had the three equal branches of government, and they were supposed to be balancing to keep each other in check, but you had, beyond them, you had the fourth estate, you had the press, who then kind of oversaw all of that as well. Well, today, that's all gone away. The left, the progressives, or the regressives, have infiltrated into our media, whether it's printed, whether it's radio, whether it's TV, and basically have taken over and just twist everything to their own agenda, as I said earlier. And this is very saddening because, to me, I ask myself, what hope does our country have if we can't trust the press to oversee our political arena and make sure that keep our politicians honest? And maybe this explains why our politicians can be so corrupt. And this is both sides of the aisle. And I have some words at the end of the show for Paul Ryan, because I'm really disgusted with him. But I'm really disgusted with this. I'm sickening how the regressives are able to get their way in a very negative way. For example, with Donald Trump, we've seen how his numbers have gone down. Now, he said some stupid things, but a lot of what he said isn't really what he said, but it gets twisted, and it gets twisted into a very negative way, and then you get all these so-called Republicans, because I think most of them are not, saying, oh, well, I can't vote for Donald Trump because he says all these things. Well, if you get into a discussion with someone who says that, here are a couple of things that I'd like you to think about. And I think I may have mentioned this little phrase in an earlier show, but I think this is really one that sums everything up for me. And what you say to someone who's saying that they can't vote for Donald Trump because of what he says, you say, okay, the issue is you have a choice between someone who says stupid things and then maybe has to kind of fight a little bit to justify them, has to try and justify them, versus someone who does stupid things and then lies about them. Now, use that phrase. So someone who says stupid things and then has to justify them, or someone who does stupid things and then lies about them, and in most cases lies about them in the sense of saying that she didn't actually do those stupid things. To me, the choice is very obvious, and I still can't understand why she's getting as high numbers as she is. And they say, well, she has a better temperament to be president of the United States, a better temperament, and she's corrupt as anything, and that's a better temperament. I would rather have someone who occasionally speaks his mind, doesn't do it in the measured terms of a true politician who thinks through everything. And this is maybe this is part of Donald's problem. He's not a politician. He's not used to measuring everything he says very carefully because he knows it could easily get twisted one way or the other. That's what politicians do. Maybe that's why we need to have a professional political class, which I think is absolutely awful. But maybe that's why we have to have that, because the press will take anything someone's said out of context, twist it around, and just absolutely skewer them with it. Yes, so he said some things. Are they stupid? Maybe. Are they really bad? Are they really all that negative? No. It's just that people are using them as an excuse to not need to vote for them, and especially a number of Republicans. I think they should just get booted out of the party. People like Suzanne Collins from somewhere up in the New England area, who said she can never vote for Trump. And listen to what I say about Ryan, because I was disgusted about him as well. So what's the latest regressive ploy? And this is really just to show the bias that is out there, right? Donald Trump was holding a speech yesterday, I believe, and mentioned that how Hillary is occasionally says, oh, she's not against Second Amendment, but actually we know she is, and I've actually played the clip on that was secretly recorded that shows she is very much against the Second Amendment. But he mentioned that she shouldn't get elected because of that, because she's against the Second Amendment, and he used words similar to them. I don't know whether they're the exact words. I've seen the clips a couple of times, can't remember the words. Basically, he said the Second Amendment people would see to it that she did not get elected. Now, what happened is, of course, the left started howling because they said, oh, he's inciting an assassination of Hillary. Oh, come on, folks. It was very obvious what he was saying. Now, you've twisted it, but it was very obvious what he was saying. But he didn't do it in the measured way. Oh, dear, I'm a politician. I've got to remember. If I say that, then this is how they can twist it. What was he saying? He was saying that people who support the Second Amendment would not vote for Hillary. I mean, that was obvious. That was what he said, and that was what he meant. But then our lamestream media now and Hillary surrogates. Now we can understand it from the surrogates; they're going to do what they can. Obviously, they want to get her elected. But the lamestream media immediately, right, howling and twisting that. Oh, right, he's inciting violence, and there's no way he can be president because he's inciting violence. And he wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing that at all. All he was saying is people who support the Second Amendment will never vote for the evil, bigot witch. And that's true. I don't think they will. Including some Democrats. But there's this constant barrage of negative, 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 because they saw with Romney, same thing works. As long as you keep pounding, grinding these people into the dirt, it will stick, and people will get it into their brain there is something wrong with this person, and they won't vote for them. Same with the baby story, right? That's been on Fox News a number of times now. The fact there was a baby in one of his rallies, and he was joking about it, and he was being nice, made a comment that it was quite loud, and then a couple of minutes later said, you know what, to the lady, very nicely. I mean, you look at the clip, he was very polite, very nice about it, but said, you know, the baby is making a lot of noise. Would you mind taking it out and till it quietens down? Well, this weekend and today, or yes, no, it was this morning, the mother was on Fox News channel, and she said she was not in any way offended by being asked to take the baby out for a while and calm him down. And yet, what did the lamestream media write? So after he'd done that, right, they wrote, Donald Trump kicks baby out of arena. Right? Negative, negative, negative. Twisting something where, and he was jokingly, and he was doing it not just for himself, but also for the others who'd come there to listen, and the baby was very loud. It's normal. And that's what the mother said. She wasn't. She took it out, calmed him down, and came back and heard the rest of the speech when the baby was calmed down again. But they twist around, kicks baby out of arena. I mean, that's just, and that's why I'm very sickened, disgusted, but saddened as well, because if you have that kind of constant onslaught, and there is no other side, there's very few balanced channels. Now, one channel obviously is Red Nation Rising radio network, right, which has replaced Red State Talk Radio Network as the premier channel for conservative hosts. But that's a voice in the wilderness. There are some of the other channels that I'm syndicated with, right? Streaming talk radio, the 405 media. But we're fighting hard because we don't have the same exposure that radio channels have on, right, terrestrial radio, TV, magazines, newspapers. Just this constant negative onslaught, very one-sided. I'm losing hope for our country, because how can we hope to do anything with this constant onslaught of this negativity? It makes it very difficult to get any Republican voted in. But it gets worse, and it gets much, much worse, because now they're going after Donald Trump's family. Well, I always thought that the left howled ever so much as soon as anybody dared mention anything about the family of any of the regressive candidates. But apparently, if you're a Republican, that doesn't count anymore, and you're fair game, and your family is fair game. Well, after the break, I'm going to tell you what despicable thing happened to Donald Trump's family, and I'm going to give you I'm going to start dishing it out as well. I don't think Donald Trump should do it, because obviously it gets him this moniker of being negative, but his surrogates can, and other people who support him can, and I'm going to do that. But before I do that, it is time for a commercial break, so I will take this commercial break, and be back shortly after these messages.
You can lose 10, 20, 30 pounds or more with Maximum Slim's first ever rapid weight loss guarantee. Today, you get Maximum Slim, an advanced fat and carb blocker, absolutely risk-free. The all-natural ingredients in Maximum Slim are a powerful weight loss combination. The Maximum Slim formula turns your body into a fat-burning furnace that supercharges your weight loss. Advanced fat and carb blocker stops the breakdown of sugar so your body doesn't store it as fat. Today, you'll get both of these products absolutely risk-free with no obligation. Only pay shipping. There are no expensive meal plans or exhausting DVDs. Just take Maximum Slim twice a day. It's fast, simple, and now it's guaranteed. Look, you can start losing weight today or not. Go back to your high school days and wear your favorite jeans again. Guaranteed. Call now and get both weight loss formulas free. Call 800-451-0228. 800-451-0228. That's 800-451-0228.
Doc, you gotta give it to me straight.
All right.
'Cause I'm dying here. I mean, take a look at this letter from the IRS.
Oh, my.
This is killing me, Doc. I tell you, it's killing me.
Cheer up, my friend.
Huh?
The tax doctor is here. My diagnosis tells me that you're going to be just fine.
Really?
The tax doctor will not rest until we find you the best possible tax settlement.
Really, Doc?
Guaranteed.
If the IRS claims you owe them $10,000 or more in business or personal back taxes, call a tax doctor right now. We could save you up to 75% if you qualify. Guaranteed or you pay nothing. Call right now for free details.
800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. That's 800-917-8546.
You're listening to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, broadcast on the internet, and also available at archives.patrickcomelately.us, a proud member of the Red Nation Rising Radio Network. And just a reminder for folks, if you want to find out more about Red Nation Rising Radio Network, go to my site, www.patrickcomelately.us. Go to the syndication page, and there's a link there to R&R's website where you can listen to my show. Check the site for the schedule. In addition, of course, I get syndicated in to some other channels as well. You can find that all on the website there. Including, as I mentioned before, Streaming Talk Radio, 405 Media, all very good channels where you can get some good information. You can also use the website to send me a message if you've got questions or comments about the show, especially if you're listening to the recordings. Do go there, please, and send me those messages. I love hearing from my listeners. Of course, if you are a regular listener to the recordings or the rebroadcast, do try and join us live as well. Occasionally, like this week, occasionally have some technical problems which kind of break the show up a little bit. But on normal, most of the time, 90% of the time, we have a lot of fun. There is a chat room there, and you can participate in the chat room. We have some regular listeners, and we have some very interesting discussions going on there in the chat room. But anyway, let's go back to a slightly different topic, although it's still this thing of the lamestream media twisting things and really just doing everything they can to make Donald look negative, look bad. And as I mentioned before, I think some of it's to that they want to basically get him riled and get him to say things that can be used against him. But also, on top of that, they just want to make him look negative in any way they can, him and his family. And as I said before the commercial break, the left always howls any time a candidate's family is brought into the fray in any way. At least if it's a left-wing candidate, right? Remember that any comments about King Barry's children were immediately howled down by the regressives. But this week, something happened. If you like, a report came out, and in a way, luckily, but maybe not, because I think it really shows how corrupt our lamestream media is. But it got lost in the kerfuffle around the Second Amendment comment that I talked about earlier. So it got lost in the noise, this report. But it shows how insidious the lamestream media really are. And again, this is just a very despicable thing. A report was put out, and I can't remember, I think it was one of the newspapers, but a report surfaced attacking Ivanka Trump, right? Family. Now, remember, Ivanka Trump, she's a very articulate, beautiful, and successful businesswoman. So talk about a war on women. Who's got a war on women? The Republicans, or is it actually the regressives that have it? But anyway, she was attacked. She's a successful businesswoman, and she has a company, and her company is associated in some way. I'm not sure whether it's through a franchise or they buy stuff from them or whatever, but somehow these two companies are connected. So not her company, but the company with which her company is associated, turns out that it does not offer paid maternity leave to its female employees. Sounds bad. So why is Ivanka's company doing business with this other company? Well, in business, you don't go around and saying, well, do you give all your people this benefits, that benefits, the other benefits? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do the other? You say, do you have a product that I want? And I'll buy it, and that's it. Or, we'll work together to sell things, whatever. But you don't, business isn't political. Business is about earning money. But the left are trying to make it seem, again, as if the Trumps are bad and don't like women, because Ivanka's company is associated with this other company that doesn't provide paid maternity leave. Now, so distortion of the truth, lying, call it what you will, biased journalism, right, opinionating rather than reporting. Here's some things that insidious reporter left out. Number one, this company that's associated with Ivanka Trump's company does actually provide maternity leave as is required by law. Happens to be unpaid. You are required to provide maternity leave. You do not have to pay for it. So the company is not doing anything illegal, and many other companies do it, but it's being used, it's being twisted to try and show the Trumps in a bad light. But now we get to the really bad part of this. And this is what really disgusts me. And this is what's, I think, really bad about journalism today, and even politics, that you can allow this sort of thing, this distortion of the truth, this lying, because this is really lying to the American people, to the public that read these reports or listen to them on the radio. Because actually Ivanka Trump's own company, the one that she controls, the one that she manages, the one that she has control over, that she can do something about. Remember, this associated company is just one that she does business with. Business. It's not a political thing, it's a business thing. But her own company, where she does have control, gives far more benefit for pregnant women than required by law. She actually gives 8 weeks of paid maternity leave for female employees in her own company. But the reporter conveniently forgot that. Now, to me, that's despicable. But it just shows how afraid the left is of Donald Trump, and not just the left and the right, because there are so many so-called conservatives. They're not conservatives. There are so many Republicans and so-called Republicans that should be thrown out of the party, that are coming out openly saying, I can't vote for Donald because of what he says. Well, remember my mantra. He may say stupid things and he may try to justify them, but weigh that against someone who does stupid things and then lies about them. For me, it's very easy which side of the fence you should go to. Something else I heard, which also really got me screaming at the TV, was one of these holier-than-thou Republicans, although I should call them an independent because they should be thrown out of the party, and especially one like this who said, no, I can't vote for Trump. I'm not going to vote for Trump. And the host, and I can't remember whether it was Eric Bolling on O'Reilly or whether it was Hannity, but anyway, the host said to him, well, you realize that if you don't vote for Trump, it's a vote for Hillary. And so the guy sort of laughed at him in a supercilious way and said, no, but I'm not voting for Hillary, so that's a vote for Trump, right? No, you prig, you pompous buffoon. If you're a Republican, if you don't vote for Trump, you are voting for Hillary. If you're a Democrat and you don't vote for Hillary, then you can say that that's a vote for Trump. But if you're a Republican and you don't vote for Trump, you are voting for Hillary. And it's going to be on the GOP establishment if Trump does not get elected, because they have fought him all the way. They're continuing to fight him. Listen what I heard today, Paul Ryan, towards the end of the show. Also despicable, disgusting, and I'm just so sorry that he got re-elected, because he is a typical politician, totally untrustworthy, and the sooner we get rid of him, the better. But that's for later in the show. So we've got 5 minutes till the next commercial break. Let's talk about Hillary. So as I said, Donald Trump shouldn't maybe do these negative things, but I will. So let's start off yesterday in Kissimmee. She had a campaign rally. I used to live there, so I know, probably in the Silver Spurs. That's where I went to see Sarah Palin give her one of her motivational speeches when she was running for VP. And on TV, we were shown a face in the crowd standing right or sitting right behind Hilaire. It was the father of the Orlando shooter, Mr. Mateen. Now, remember the left howling at Donald Trump because he didn't immediately repudiate David Duke when David Duke said some, I think even said that he endorsed him, but at the very least said some nice things about him, and they said, oh, you should have, right? He's a racist. You should have immediately repudiated him. Did Hillary say anything about Mr. Mateen? Did the campaign say anything about Mr. Mateen? Oh, no, he wasn't invited. Well, big question there. Was he invited? Wasn't he? Apparently he's a registered Democrat, so he could have got an invitation in the mail. But it's very strange that he happened to be in that privileged crowd that gets to sit behind the candidate and is seen on TV. That means somebody probably recognized him, knew who he was, and put him in that privileged position, because otherwise he's just been in the normal crowd. So how did he manage to get there? So, in other words, Hillary is supporting terrorists, is supporting Sharia law, because the father of the shooter is very much in favor of Sharia law, and taqiyya, right, lying to accomplish his Islam ideals. Because he was on, over the weekend, I saw a TV clip of him where he was saying there is no Sharia law, that doesn't exist, and then immediately after that they brought forward evidence where he'd written an article saying that Sharia law was good and should be introduced here as well. And yet he goes on now and says, oh no, Sharia law doesn't exist, it's just a figment of our imagination. BS, folks. BS. Taqiyya, right? Lying to accomplish Islamic ideals. And Hillary did not repudiate him. Where's the left now? See? Biased. And not just biased in a small way, but in a big way. And like I said, it saddens me because it makes me wonder about the future of our country. So how about Hillary only paying women on her staff when she was a senator 80 cents on the dollar compared to the men? Is that women friendly, or is that a war on women? Yeah. Let's say it. The mainstream media aren't going to say it. And if families are fair game, what about Minnie Hill? Yeah, Chelsea, that is, who had a job at CBS for a salary of $600,000 per year, while she did virtually nothing. Now, I'm a free market person. I think most Republicans are, and we don't begrudge people money, but we don't begrudge people money when they earn it in a fair way. But just sitting on your butt, doing nothing and getting that large amount of money, why did she earn that money? Because she was the daughter of the Clintons, and CBS thought it would be good to pay her a lot of money because it would give them access to the Clintons. Now, think about it. For that, CBS could have employed between 5 and 10 producers, makeup artists, camera operators, etc. So, yet again, Hillary's not creating jobs. Her family is taking jobs away. Okay, folks, I see that we're getting close to the next commercial break. So stick with me through the commercial break, and apologies for the quality of the show. I was a little discombobulated because of the network problems, so it's not its usual self, but hopefully you will understand, and next week things should be a lot better. So folks, see you after the commercial break, and thanks for listening.
Patriot come lately. British by birth, American by choice. Just like the Founding Fathers. The voice of the conservative resistance.
This is Stefan, your Patriot come lately, proud to be on Red Nation Rising Radio. These can be dark and depressing times, but Main Street USA finally has a competitive voice to traditional mainstream media outlets, and it's screaming at all hours 24/7, we want our country back. America, it's time to wake up, expose the regressives, and keep listening to the new dominant force in conservative internet talk radio, the Red Nation Rising Radio Network, powered by ICRN.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Call 800-516-3405. 800-516-3405. 800-516-3405. Call right now. That number again is 800-516-3405.
You're listening to Patriot Come Lately Talk Radio, broadcast on the internet, and also available at archives.patriotcomelately.us, a proud member of the Red Nation Rising Radio Network.